Welcome back to another video. It's not really a tutorial. It's just gonna be me making a little game. We don't have a whole lot of time today, but I figured I want to try making a tile-based kind of strategy game. And I have an interesting idea for a tile system. Instead of like making the world out of blocks or something, or just tiles, I think I'm gonna make a map and then do a tile overlay on top of it, and then just kind of move everything around that way. Open my favorite program, good old Paint. Love this. So I have my little fancy pen here. I think what we'll do is grab the square tool, do shift. We will have, let's make a map like this. We'll just have a square. Then we'll get our pencil tool, and I'm thinking it'll be broken up, and we'll just say with topo style, make some layers here, and then do a little layer here, just making little mountains, and then we'll say we'll have like a village right here, and then just do like little houses. It's like a little smiley face, but yeah, we'll do some little houses here. This will be our village, and then we'll have some forest like so, and then we'll make roads. So this will be a road, and then these roads will have a split in it, because you know every fantasy map needs splits in the road. And this will go to another town, put a few more houses. Amazing. A little well, and then this road will go up, and this will just go to the forest. We'll just minimize the reference, put our pen away, and we'll get to work. So we're going to start by bringing the cursor to the center, and we're just going to add a plane. This is going to basically be our map. Press F7, or not F7, but 7 on the numpad. And we will just subdivide this a few times. All right. Now if you remember, bring up our thing. We got a mountain on the side, so we'll just press C and select these. I'm going to go to face select, make it a little bit easier, and we'll just extrude. But first, we got another mountain over here, so go C again, and we'll just grab this side here. This is where our starter town's going to be, and we got a little bit of forest, but I think we'll make a little shelf for our forest. Then we can just extrude. We'll just deselect some of these faces, extrude up another layer, like so. Now we have a little map here. We're not going to worry about any fancy lighting. Just add a material for the ground, which will just make like a not so saturated green, get rid of the intensity. All right, and that'll be our ground. So now we're just going to block it out, quite literally, with some cubes. Press 5 so I can see what I'm doing here, where my stuff is, and our town is going to be right here. So we'll just do that, scale on the Y, scale on the X, make a slightly larger house, move it over, put it there, grab this one, move it like right there, and then we'll take this one, rotate Z 90 degrees, and we have a little town. Be like the main house. Okay. That'll be our town. Control J, make them all in one thing. Go to Object, Transform, Origin to Volume. And then we'll give these a new material. We'll just make these brown. Go dark brown for houses. Then the second town over here, we'll just do the same town, rotate, and then take this and then rotate it 90 degrees. There's our second town. It's pretty easy stuff. Now we still don't have a whole lot of time to work on this, but I think we'll have enough time to kind of get something going here. So looking at our reference again, we have these roads and we got forest. So I think what we'll do is just new material, assign said material, go into edit mode, assign this material, and then make our kind of lighter earthy tone. More like a gray, and that'll be our road. Then we'll just get rid of the intensity, because we're just blocking out colors and we don't want it super shiny. Alright. So I think I'll also make this like that, since we can see everything now. And we'll just kind of make it dirt floors in the city. Like so. Maybe deselect a couple of spots. There's some grass. Same thing over here. And then we'll just hit this and the sign. Alright, that's looking pretty good. We're gonna save our progress so we don't lose it all, because it crashes, you know how it goes. And we'll just call this tiny, caps lock is on, tiny town, underscore town, tiny town. Alright, so now that we've got tiny town, we're gonna add some trees. So we're gonna go into the next layer, and then we'll add a cube, press the delete key on the numpad, and then just, that way it brings us closer. We'll just scale that down, bring this down, extrude, go down, extrude. We're just gonna kind of go for a low poly look. Kind of like so. Control S, center your cursor, cursor to center, another cube. Let's put that on there. Now we're going to add a couple materials. We'll make the base material, leave a little texture on it, or a little reflectiveness. Make it a brown. We'll just go for a dark bark texture. Then we'll go to our secondary texture and just make this kind of a dark, let's actually go for a pine, kind of a blue pine, and then just a really dark forest color. And that'll look good. Then we'll just duplicate that cube and then do some nice little shoots here. Oops. Some shoots. Now we got our little tiny trees. So I'm kind of liking where that cursor is. Then we will call this pine underscore tree. Keep everything named nice and neat. Makes everything a lot easier in the future. So we'll just bring this over to our map. Actually, we're gonna bring this down, duplicate it, and then bring a duplicate of it. So that way we can do some work with these trees. So we'll just scale these up. Not too big, big enough. There we go. And we shall make our forest. And it'll just be duplicate, rotate, just randomly rotate stuff, duplicate again. And we're gonna kind of go for almost an old style video game type deal. Then we can click these patch trees, Control J, because remember we're making a tile based, and this will just be our forest. Nice little tile based forest here. And then let's see our reference. We do have a forest in the opposite corner, which is supposed to be this side. And what we'll do is take our little pine trees. It's F5 for a second. Okay, see where we're putting them. You can kind of see where they're gonna start clipping through. And we'll just put them like that. Then we'll just put some on top of the hill, like so. Mostly just for looks, because we're probably going to be having this top-down view like this. So, what we're going to do, we're going to Control R, and we're going to make some tiles like that. We'll go Alt L, go into face mode, Alt L, and then that will select this whole ring around here, and we'll just go over here and make a new material. I don't quite want it to look like the houses too much. Maybe a little bit darker. There we go. Nice earthy texture. Or color. Alt L. Select the ring. And then assign it. Assign. Alright, so now that we got all this done, looking a lot better. So, add a camera. Grab this camera. Z. Bring it up. I'm thinking See what happens if we make it orthographic. And then, maybe not. We'll see. We'll clip it at 200. Should be good. Let's try 500. We broke it. I think we'll put it just past. Add a plane. Subdivide. Actually, let's leave it 1. Make it our water. Make it a little bit lower. And I think, let's make a lake. It's not in our plan, but plans change. I'm okay with that. All right. So now we have a little pond. Liking it. Save. Okay, now everything seems to be working a little bit better. We have our camera and everything looks good. Let's go into our layer here. And we're going to make this our rock. So, I'll just go down. Extrude, scale, move, extrude, scale. And then that'll be our rock. Let's make it a darker color and call it rock. Cool. We're going to go group instance, rock. This will definitely help out. Oh, and I can just scale this guy up. There we go. That looks a lot better. So, now we can just place these rocks around the map. So we're going to do kind of a selection deal. So this will be our user interface. Go in here. We're going to add a camera. Selection, grab. Then we're going to make this camera orthographic. Just move the scale, and then we can start adding our stuff. And I think what we'll do is a pretty simple UI. Just going to click this, unwrap, and then we'll go new, open texture, containers. Oh, we could do containers. So now I'm just going to go back to here. And we'll go shadeless. And that way we can click on this. We're going to turn our thing here into a UV editor here. We're going to open up our texture. And we're going to just scale this down, grab it, move it over here. Look at that. Perfect. And that's going to be our tile. So if I press P, awesome. I'm gonna save, and I want to look at this here. Start it up. It's looking good. We're going to make it so when we select a certain material, it'll pop up down here. All right. Now we got wood and we got stone. And if we want, we can add a few other things later as well. So we'll just save our progress. Awesome. Now we have these, whatever they are. Now we can go back to level 1, go into our camera, click our camera, and we'll add always. And then we'll just add a good old-fashioned scene, add a overlay scene, and select our UI. So now, look at that, we got UI on our scene. Beautimous. Okay. Now, let's just make this little character. Give him some arms. Now we have a little dude. This is just going to be our test character. Make sure our system's working. So now, I'll go object, transform, origin, center, volume, and we'll just make him a character. Just going to rotate this 90 degrees. And then we're going to take the camera, and I want to try doing an always. add a camera. Select that. Click on our player here. Kibo 3. So if I press play, as you can see, it's all kinds of wacky. Freaking out. But what we can do is go height. We'll go 20. We will do a minimum. We can do a max 25. Let's see what that does. If we add a keyboard and say W, and then a motion, and then go Y10, fix our rotation. Just add a couple more keyboards, a few more. And the controls that make no sense. Now another way to do this is instead of moving all directions, let's get rid of A and D so we can only move forwards and backwards. In fact, we might even get rid of backwards. But we will add a mouse, move this over to the mouse, and then make it a look. So now we can move around. And we can even get rid of our mouse for now, and we will just implement it later. So now we can move around, and we have a camera. Let's walk over these rocks. Hey, this is pretty cool. Alright, now we have a character, movement, all that great stuff. I have an idea for the towns. It's gonna be kind of like an old Game Boy game where you walk around the maps. You got all the little tiles and stuff, and then when you walk into a city, it's obviously not the right scale, but you walk into it and it'll just load in a new area. So I think that's what we'll do. But let's do some mechanics now. Click our rock, and instead of the mouse, because we gave up on that, I am going to do a near. So when it's near a player of this distance, and we'll just go 1 and 1, and we'll go property. We're gonna call this property rock HP, since we'll make it an entity. Make this an integer so we can count. Click on HP, turn this to an add. This way we can actually add and not assign. We'll go 1. Actually, let's do -1. We'll just make it all start at the same. So we'll do that, and then we'll give this max HP of 5. And then, so when near, we will add a mouse. And then we'll go properties, HP, when the value equals 0, or actually we'll do this, it's a little more reliable. When it's less than 1, and object. And actually, we'll just do a little particle system as well. So we'll do that. And then when we break the object, it'll end the object. Sweet. So now we can go over here, center, group instance, particle. Go over to our rock, go back to our rock, particle. Make it spawn for 30 ticks. Looks good to me. So now we got this. We're gonna add player as a variable. So whenever we walk up to a rock, boom, breaks the rocks. Now we just need to do trees. But trees are kind of in groups right now, whereas these are like this. So I think what we'll do is delete these trees. So now we're gonna go back to this tree. Look at our rock, that's pretty cool. Go to this tree, and we're just going to new group, call it pine, underscore tree, all caps because I'm a madman. We're just gonna click on our rock, and then copy, type in copy, logic bricks to selected, and then copy, and then we're gonna go game property. We're gonna go back to our particles, duplicate these, and then we are going to remove from particle, new group, particle, underscore, tree. Then all we'll do is hit this plus button, make it a new material, bring it over here to green, make it like our forest green color, and then leave this one, it's like a brown color. Perfect. Now we got a tree particle. So all we gotta do is go over here, group instance, particle tree, object transform origin to volume. So if we click on our tree, we're going to add a new particle, particle tree. It's going to go off at the same 30 ticks, and then we can go over into our main scene, center, group instance, pine tree, scale that pine tree up so it's the proper scale. It's not working. I love this. Okay, let's not worry about it too much since we can just edit them all. Press 7. We want to make it so our forest is actually a forest over here. And there's our forest. I think the other forest looked a little better, but this will be fine. So we can break our rocks. But can we break the forest? So it looks like we're going to need to go in, select our tree, and then all we're going to do, object transform origin to volume, and then go over to our near and make this 2, and then just make the reset distance also 2, and we'll see how that looks. Make sure you save in case we get a crash. Walk up to the tree, do your thing. All right, that's looking good. All right, so now that we have an ability to walk around, we have things that we can break, resources we can collect. Now we just need to actually be able to collect them and have a reason to collect them. So I think the next thing we're going to actually do is, now that we can walk around, collect things, we are going to go into the town and build another level. So that's going to end this first episode. Woot. I'm thinking this is looking pretty good. I hope I can work on it quite a bit more, and this should actually be a little fun game. Alright, thanks for watching. Give her a like if you like. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next. Bye.